bado tuko Bali na tunaenda wapi? Bali.
Endelea kutazama Capuchin TV, huduma Katoliki ya uinjilishaji.
Well, hello to you, our dear viewers of Capuchin TV, and welcome to the Family Faith Show, whereby we get to interact with the youth in various ways.
Let's stop judging people according to their tribes.
We present to you fresh perspectives, exciting conversations, engaging debates, Bible trivia discussions, showcasing of talents such as singing, dancing, art, and so much more from guests who keep it real and authentic.
Sasa wewe, nitajuaje hautanihat? It's true that human nature covers us.
So buckle up, because this season is about to be epic with me, your one and only host, Susan Bulemi. Keep it locked right here on the Family Faith Show every Wednesday from 2 to 3 p.m. only on Capuchin TV. It is the 14th of January 2026, and I hope it's not too late for me to say this. Happy New Year to you, our dear viewer. Good afternoon and welcome to the very first episode of the Family Faith Show of this year with me, your one and only host, Susan Bulemi. So on today's episode, we will be having a very special discussion whereby our topic of discussion is goal setting and resolutions. This is a conversation that most of us, if not all of us, are having at this point of the year because, of course, it's the beginning of a new year. Everyone is going with the term new year, new me. People have plans. People want to do things differently than they did last year, and so much more. So tune in, do not touch that dial, and I am joined by lovely, wonderful guests who are going to help shed more light on that topic of discussion. However, before I let them introduce themselves, I'd like to remind you, our dear viewer, if you'd like to participate on today's conversation, you can always send us an SMS via our SMS number 21760, or you can also leave us a comment on our social media handles and your message will be delivered. Without further ado, I'd like to give my guests the opportunity to introduce themselves, beginning with the lady.
Hello, my name is Philomena. I'm from Masinga MTVC, and I'm glad to be here. Thank you.
Okay, thank you so much, Philomena, and you're welcome here on Family Faith. We are glad to have you here today. Next.
Yeah, Happy New Year, Susan, and also Happy New Year to our viewers. My name is John Joroge. I'm a medical officer intern, and I'm also an MC, and I believe I'm not a stranger to this show, so it feels like good to be back home, and I'm so excited to be here.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Thank you so much, Joe, and you're welcome. We're glad to have you on set.
Thank you.
Hello everyone, my name is Nancy Kajuju. I'm from Zitech University, and I'm glad to be on this show and ready to share more.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Thank you so much, Nancy, Jill, Philomena. Once again, you're welcome and feel at home.
Thank you.
And if we could move straight into today's conversation, like I mentioned earlier, our topic of discussion today is goal setting and resolutions. And maybe if I could begin with you, Nancy. When you hear the words goal setting, what's the first thing that comes to your mind?
The first thing that comes to mind is I want to change my way of life this year. So yeah, goal setting is literally like just deciding personally that you want to change for the better. Yeah.
Okay, thank you so much for
Welcome.
that. How about you, Joe? Goal setting, what comes first to your mind?
Yeah, so thank you for that. So goal setting is basically identifying what you want to do, and you laying out the process or in a specific time frame of how to achieve it. And that ideally entails you having some bit of clarity, something which you can actually put into writing per se, something which you can also measure because you want to be accountable to it. So it's this process of basically identifying what you want, how you want to achieve it, and within a specific time frame, and with that, it gives you the kind of steps for you to be able to achieve what you've put into writing. So yes.
Okay, thank you so much for that. Philomena, how about you when you hear the words goal setting?
Okay, thank you. In my perspective, I think goal setting is whereby you have a plan of something you want to do at the end of another thing. Let's say at the start of this year, I can plan what I want to achieve at the end of the year. That's what it is made by goal setting. Yeah.
And okay, before we go back to Nancy, I'd like to ask you, Philomena, when you're talking about goal setting and resolution, do you think it's the same thing? Do they go hand in hand? Because I'd like to think they are the same thing, but how about you? What do you think about it?
In my perspective, they are close. When you talk about goal, there must be resolution.
Yeah.
Let's say, for example, you have a goal, but at the end of it, will you find like a resolution of it? Yeah. So goal and resolution, they are kind of most like they are close things, and they must go hand to hand. Yeah.
Okay. And Joe, I would like to ask you, like I said earlier, this is a conversation that most people have when we begin a new year. And most of the goals, or rather most of the resolutions that we have, some of them, if not most of them, by February, we've forgotten about them or we've diverted. Why do you think that happens?
So it's quite interesting, and thank you for that question. I think before I answer it, let me just tell the viewer of something I came across. And I think around a third or half of the people, they actually make resolutions. But out of that population, around 20% fail by the first 1 week. Around another 50 by the first 3 months. And then another, I think 80% within the next 2 years have failed their resolutions. So it actually shows you that people, they're not actually quite good in keeping them, and even actually quite following it through, because it's not a habit they have created. So why people maybe fail, it's because, and I can point it down to some few specific things. Number one, they make goals which are not positive, so they're negative, and that in effect creates something which is not pleasurable. So like for instance, you'd say, I want to lose weight. That's quite ambiguous, and it's quite challenging to someone who doesn't even know where to start or something like that. But if you say something to the effects of maybe I want to start eating healthy, I want to try out new ways of cooking, I want to try out new ways of exercising, it will help you achieve at least some bit of that goal you have made. So people like number one, goals which are negative, and that is why it tends to fail. Because if your motivation is negative, it might get you out of bed in the morning, but eventually it won't give you the motivation or the wherewithal to continue with it. And that's why you see, for instance, most gym memberships, if you go look, they have increased, especially in this month of January. But February, March, I mean, people start disappearance because they made this thing out of a negative aspect. It may give you motivation at first, but it doesn't last you in the long run. Yeah.
And maybe before we move on, you've mentioned about how gym memberships increase in this month, and we've also come across videos on social media whereby you see people comparing. In January, the gym is so full, but by February, we are back to the norm.
Yes.
Okay. Nancy, I would like to ask you, because many people like to maybe make it a priority to have their goals set right now, January, for the entire year. Why do you think it is important for us to always set our goals, especially when the year begins?
I feel like setting your goals when the year begins, it feels like a drive.
Yeah.
So when you set a goal during the beginning of the year, you feel like you're very motivated, you want to achieve something. Let's say I want to go to Dubai by the end of, let's say, this year. You will be motivated to save, to look for the necessary documents, everything that's needed for you to go there. So I feel like it's a drive that will help you move on with the year. Yeah.
Okay. Joe, why do you think it's important, especially for the young people? Because Most of us, we have that notion that we have time, we are still young. But why do you think it's important for young people to always have their goals set, especially when we're beginning a new year? Why is it important for them to set their goals this early?
Yeah, in line with what you have said, people think we're young, but eventually you'll realize that, as they say in Swahili, vijana ni moshi, it comes and goes pretty fast. But two important things. Number one, so that we can get happiness, because we believe God created us for happiness. And for you to be able to achieve to that part or aspect, you have to be able to know what He wants from you. And number two, for you to be able to maximize your full potential. It will be quite sad if you never really achieve the potential God made you to have per se. And along those lines, it's important for you to actually sit down and start thinking along the lines of how can I change a thing or two to be able to, number one, be happy the way God intended, and number two, to be able to maximize my full potential. And this is very important, because that way you'll be able to achieve what God had in store and in mind for us. So as young people, it's important to be able to think along the lines of how can I better myself? How can I be able to achieve more and gain more for the glory of God, and also to help other people? So it's important in that regard.
And how about you, Philomena, on the same point? Why do you think it's important for us to set our goals this early?
I think the early the better. Tunasemanga jinsi tunasemanga mapema ndo best. So the early the better, because the moment you set a goal, you get motivated. Each and every day you wake up, you remember, oh, kuna goal nimeset mahali and I have to accomplish it. So it is better to start early. You should not wait for November ndo uanze kuset goal alafu useme by December nafaa kuwa nimeaccomplish. Start as early as now at this moment.
And okay, Philomena, I'd like to ask, okay, Joe had talked briefly about that, but what do you think are some of the things or some of the reasons that we find most of the goals that we set, we are not able to, get to them, or we're not able to achieve them? What do you think are some of the reasons this happen?
Okay, thank you for that question. First, some of us may set goals that are unrealistic. For example, I can wake up in the morning and I say, by tonight, nafaa kuwa nimetafuta job yenye inalipa 1 million. And yet, I'm not learned at first. So, we have to be realistic with the goals that we set. Another thing is peer pressure. Do not set a goal because you have seen a friend setting the same goal. Set a goal that you know and to believe in yourself that you can accomplish. And also, other thing is like laziness. You set a goal and then at some point you get lazy, unalala kwa goal. Do not sleep at the goal.
Okay, and before we move to Joe, I'd like to ask you now, this is based on personal experiences from all of you. Maybe in the previous year, 2025, what's that one goal that you had set, and maybe unfortunately or due to some unavoidable reasons, you are not able to achieve, and you'd like to try and give it a go this year?
Okay. Last year, I had some goals that I had set. One of the goals I set, I had set to be, what can I say, to have accomplished my course. But to some unavoidable circumstances, I had to postpone it. So I can say that goal failed, but I didn't give up. I'm still continuing.
Okay, that's very nice to hear, and all the best.
Thank you.
How about you, Joe?
I wanted to run to be the president of a certain country. I'm just joking. Last year, I had set some number of goals. Some of them I achieved. Like, for instance, I finished my course, I graduated. But others I didn't pass it. So I wanted to run a half marathon. And that always kept on escaping me for some certain reason. The 20-kilometer mark is always I sort of, I don't know, call it quits or something like that. But that's a goal I'd like to honestly achieve this year, because it's very fulfilling, and also it's quite something positive in regards to your health. So running a marathon is something, a half marathon, not full marathon, but half marathon is something I'd like to achieve.
Okay, that's great, and all the best to you.
Asante sana.
Nancy, we come back to you.
Of course, goals were set last year. Many were achieved, many were not. Especially, I really wanted to finish school, but unfortunately I didn't last year. So we are trying, we're not trying, we're actually doing it this year so that we graduate, and I really want to graduate because I didn't get the chance to do that last year. So yeah, this year we're hoping we'll graduate. Yes.
All the best, and if you do manage to graduate, please invite us, right?
I will.
Okay.
Yeah.
Moving forward, I would like to bring in the aspect of social media. And in social media, we find that people, especially young people, will get a lot of peer pressure, because social media is a space whereby people have given us that notion that they've made it, or their life is in perfect place, everything that they're doing is going as they had planned. But you find that sometimes that's not the case. And when we try to maybe set our goals or our resolutions for the year, we do it based on what we've seen people on social media doing, which sometimes can be negative or positive, depending on which side of social media you are on. Maybe what do you think people can do to avoid getting that pressure from social media so that they can manage to make realistic goals?
Thank you, Susan. I feel like social media, as you've said, there's a lot of pressure going on. As you cross over, people will type, people will hype up, we need to set goals, we need to do this and that. But when the year starts now, people, of course, they set goals, but then the goals they set, they're not realistic just because I want to set goals like Susan. I saw Susan went to gym last year. I also must go to gym this year. And as Joe said, they don't have a clear plan to how will I start the gym. So I feel like you should sit alone by yourself and then think critically. What should I do? That's on my means, you know. I feel like if you sit and analyze, you'll get knowledge, and you'll set clear goals that you're able to achieve, so that when it gets to February or March, when people's goals go left, right, and center, you're stuck on your goal. Yes, so I feel like you should not follow social media a lot. You just sit, think by yourself, and know which path to take. So that's to avoid confusion.
Okay, thank you so much for that. How about you, Joe? What do you have to say about the social media aspect?
We are currently living in a social media kind of a world whereby you cannot escape it per se. So you have to be very prudent in how you're using it. So like for instance, I came across this interesting article, and it said cigarette companies usually ramp up their advertisements in the month of January and February because people make resolutions as to drop these bad habits in the month of January and February. So quite interestingly, they ramp up the production, the advertisement. And also in the same breath, it's the same thing you observe in our country, even anywhere. Check your phone, check your WhatsApp status notification. Fast food companies also have ramped up the production, the production of the advertisements. So wherever that billboard was in November, the same billboard has something else, but in January, February. So to counteract kind of the resolutions people make. So in the aspect of social media, at times it can self-sabotage the goals we want to make. And this is very detrimental to us because you see, it's like, for instance, if you have a friend, or maybe you have a wife, husband, whatever it is, spouse, and they have made a certain goal, and maybe you've said you want to go to the gym together. Maybe your spouse may say, let's stay in the house, or maybe let's go watch a movie, or let's order junk food or something like that. Also in the same breath, like when you are friends and you stop drinking or taking alcohol or something, at first they might coerce you to stop doing that, but you have to be quite resolute. And this is the thing with social media. At times, it might self-sabotage the things and the goals we have made because the distractions are too many, Susan. And you can imagine trying to work out in such an environment. So in that regards, we have to be very positive, especially how we use social media. Like, for instance, I can suggest people maybe when they wake up, don't pick up your phone in the first hour of the day. It can help. At least you're in that space whereby you can do something quite meaningful or productive, because I'm sure the moment you take up your phone, you might come across an ad or something like that. So avoid the aspect of self-sabotage, and that is very rampant in these social media days. Yeah.
Okay. Philomena, how about you? What do you think, or what are your 2 cents when it comes to social media and people setting their goals?
Okay, that's a good question. Social media, yes, it is there, but what I can tell youths, and not only youths, kila mtu, just believe in yourself. Believe in yourself. Stop believing in social media, and above all, believe in God, because it is God that makes it happen. Do not rely on social media thinking that you will be social media. You won't be the social media. Just be you and do you. Yeah.
Okay, thank you so much for that. And moving forward, many people, especially young people, when they're trying to set their goals, okay, in as much as we're saying we should set realistic goals, sometimes one has the determination to want to achieve something that is very great. To some point it seems impossible, and that leads people to having that fear of failure, or they just choose to avoid setting that particular goal or putting that particular plan in their, in the plan that they have for the whole year. How do you think we can overcome that, having that fear of failure and just deciding to go for it?
We can avoid by just putting enough effort, and I can say extra effort. When you fail, kuteleza si kuanguka. When you fail, just stand up, wipe up the mud and keep going. Because at the end of the day, you will be accountable for what you have done at the end of the day.
Yeah.
So do not give up, and do not fall into depression because you have failed a goal. Just start where you have failed, and will pick up. Yeah. Yeah.
Okay, thank you so much for that. That is very encouraging. How about you, Joe? How do you think we can overcome that fear of failure and decide to go for what we want to achieve?
Yeah, so most probably why your goal failed is because either it was negative, like I alluded to earlier.
Yeah.
And remember, that is not usually a good basis for making a goal. There are two approaches, two sides of the coin. So you can either have an avoidant kind of a goal, or an approach kind of a goal. So an avoidant is you saying, I want to avoid junk food. Okay, it might give you some bit of motivation in the first couple of weeks, but what are you really approaching? But what are you really working towards? So if you say I want to start eating healthy, or maybe join a nutrition class or something like that, that will help you achieve that goal. Number 2, you can also, so talking about the negative aspect, so at least make a positive kind of a thing. Number 2, break it into a tiny but manageable goal. The problem is that people make huge and sudden demands. So you just wake up and say, I want to lose 10 kgs. It doesn't work like that. Or I just wake up and start running like a full marathon or a half marathon. You say, I want to wake up and today I'll start doing 5 press-ups or 5 push-ups. Tomorrow I'll maybe walk 20 minutes. The next day, 40 minutes. So you break it down into sizable but achievable chunks. So that's the main thing which can help you at least achieve and make your goal manageable. And lastly, I think we alluded to earlier, but you also have to avoid the metaphorical mirrors, like for instance, the social media aspect, whereby you're always comparing yourself with other people, and you're also doing things which might eventually make you lose the morale and the motivation to achieve your goal. So in that aspect, you have to really do things, for lack of a better term, have a quote and a ritual or a habit you do every day. So you can say every morning, I'll just pray for 30 minutes. Okay, avoid the phone using for the first 30 minutes. maybe I'll do my exercise in the morning. So have a certain ritual whereby you can fall into a certain rhythm, and it can help you get to your goal little by little.
Okay, thank you so much for that. Nancy?
I feel like the reason why your goal is failing, number one, you've set a very unrealistic goal. Number two, you've set a goal depending on what other people are setting their goals. And I think to avoid that, I feel like they've already expounded on it. I feel like to avoid the failure of your goal, I just feel like trust yourself. Yes, I'd say trust yourself. If you said like I'll run, trust yourself that I'll run. You wake up and say yes, today I'm running. Every day when you say you're running, you'll find yourself running every morning. Yes.
Okay. Thank you so much for that. Our dear viewer, we've had a lot. Our guests have had a lot to say about today's conversation, about today's topic of discussion. And at this point, we'd like to take a very short commercial break, and we will be right back.
Well, hello to you, our dear viewers of Capuchin TV, and welcome to the Family Faith Show, whereby we get to interact with the youth in various ways.
Let's stop judging people according to their tribes.
We present to you fresh perspectives, exciting conversations, engaging debates, Bible trivia discussions, showcasing of talents such as singing, dancing, art, and so much more from guests who keep it real and authentic.
Sasa wewe, nitajuaje hautani-hurt? It's true that human nature covers us.
So buckle up, because this season is about to be epic with me, your one and only host, Susan Bulemi. Keep it locked right here on the Family Faith Show every Wednesday from 2 to 3 p.m. only on Capuchin TV.
O woman, great is your faith. Be as great as the great women of the Bible. Be a Mary, humble and submissive. You don't have to be great for God to use you. You just need to obey and be yourself. O woman, great is your faith. Be as great as the great women of the Bible.
Matthew chapter 5 verse 16. In the same way, let your light shine before others, that they may see your good deeds and glorify your Father in heaven.
Well, hello to you, our dear viewers of Capuchin TV, and welcome to the Family Faith Show, whereby we get to interact with the youth in various ways.
Let's stop judging people according to their tribes.
We present to you fresh perspectives, exciting conversations, engaging debates, Bible trivia discussions, showcasing of talents such as singing, dancing, art, and so much more from guests who keep it real and authentic.
Sasa wewe, nitajuaje hautani-hurt?
Buckle up because this season is about to be epic with me, your one and only host, Susan Bulemi. Keep it locked right here on the Family Faith Show every Wednesday from 2 to 3 p.m. only on Capuchin TV.
Welcome back, our dear viewer of Capuchin TV. This is the Family Faith Show with me, your host, Susan Bulemi. And before we went on the short commercial break, we were having a conversation on goal setting and resolutions. And before we proceed, I'd just like to remind you, if you would like to send us your feedback on today's conversation, your perspective, your point of view, you can always send us an SMS via our SMS number 21760, or also comment on our social media handles, that is YouTube or Facebook, and your message will be delivered. Moving forward, and I would like to begin with you, Nancy. We were talking about setting our goals, writing down whatever you would like to have achieved or accomplished by the end of the year. And many people believe that it is usually helpful if you have a visual representation of whatever you want to achieve, right? And that brings me to the to the conversation on vision boards. This is something that people create when the year begins, of course, and it's just a visual representation. It has maybe a sort of images of whatever you want to do. If you want to go to the gym, you'll see there's an image of a gym. If you want to maybe get yourself a new phone, it's usually just a visual representation, right? Now I'd like to hear from you. What's your thought on that? Do you think it works? Do you think it's helpful having a vision board?
Thank you, Suzanne. Having a vision board, I think it works, because once you put that goal that you want to achieve on that board and put it somewhere, when you wake up you see it, you'll be like, oh, like say me, I put there a picture of someone graduating, and then I'm like, oh, I need to graduate. And then I'll be motivated to like do things that will lead me to that path. When you say like you want to go to the gym, you will see, I need to achieve this type of body, this type of fitness or whatever, and you'll be motivated to be with you, to continue with your goals. So I feel like vision board really helps, and also writing it down helps a lot. So when you write, let's say I need to get a new phone, once you go back there, get a new phone, tick it out, and then I feel like it helps you know that you've achieved something. Let's say you've ticked 5 goals from the notebook, you'll be like, oh, there's progress. Yeah, there's progress. Yes, and then you'll be motivated to continue with the rest that are remaining. So I feel like vision boards and writing help a lot when it comes to goal setting.
Okay, thank you so much for that.
Welcome.
Joe, vision boards, they've been actually very popular, especially on social media. What's your thought on that?
I think we're talking behind the scenes when I found about vision boards. But regardless, I think the whole idea is just for you to have a place whereby you write your things down clearly and in a succinct way, so that at least you can have it more or less in the same place together. So the importance is quite amazing, and also the benefits. Number one, first of all, it increases the clarity of the goal you want. So this removes the aspect of ambiguity. So it makes it quite clear. So because you are able to define what you really want, and that you can work towards it. Number two, it makes you to be more committed, to be able to work towards it. It also makes you to be more driven, action-driven per se. And also there's an aspect of you tracking the goals you set on the vision board, or for the people who write it. So writing it and putting it down, and last but not least, it also improves the memory, because there's a difference between you saying out loud versus you writing it down. And that makes a big difference, especially memory-wise, because it's something you're accountable to. It's in your own handwriting, for crying out loud. So you have to be accountable to that, and it helps you to achieve it with more zeal.
Okay, thank you so much for that. Philomena, how about you? What's your thought on having vision boards?
Thank you. writing your goals down and placing it on a vision board, I think first it helps to track the goals. For example, when you ask me, I have a lot of goals, but I need to place them down and write them down so as to track them down, because tuseme niko na goals kama 20. Nikiwa nimeziweka kwa mind, it will be hard. But when I write them down, it will be easier for me to track them. And also, I'll be motivated to work in the line of my goals. And also, nitakuwa motivated and I'll be more hardworking more than nikuwa nimeziweka kwa mind. Yeah.
Okay, and I'd like to ask you, Philomena, still on vision boards. So, like I said earlier, it's something that has really been on the online space, especially on our, TikTok, Instagram. And there was this conversation, or rather people were having argument that are vision boards supposed to be public? Are you supposed to be showing us your plans or your future plans or whatever you want to achieve? Is it okay for you to post this online? So I'd like to ask you, Philomena, do you think it's, okay, I don't want to say appropriate, but do you think it's okay to share your vision board with the online space or the public out there?
Okay, on my perspective, my answer is no. Why no? Because I cannot count my eggs before they are hatched. The moment I place my goals on social media, first, some people may start demotivating me. And I get less motivated and I'll be like, oh, this goal is not the goal that I want. I'll be like peer pressured, So I prefer setting my goals privately, and now you see the results publicly. Yeah.
Okay. How about you, Joe? Do you think it's okay to show the world your vision board, your plans?
I mean, just like Philomena said, I think it's a big no, per se. First of all, we live in an age where we believe it's okay just to show everyone and anyone, people who don't even know things about you, per se. And just like I said earlier, the reason, one of the biggest risks is that it might be self-sabotaging to you in the long run. You might actually end up shooting yourself in the foot, figuratively. You don't want to do that or take that approach. And also, you don't want to have this quote-unquote moral superiority complex so that you lord it over others. Because they might be good, the intentions might be good, but someone might perceive it differently. And just like she said, it's good to just believe in the transformational power of silence. Just work on your things silently. And then with time, people can see the results. You don't have to shout, I am going to the gym. People will just let you know, hey, you guy, you're going to the gym. So yeah, you don't have to shout.
Okay. How about you, Nancy? What's your thought on that?
It's a no. Because number one, vision boards, I feel like they're private. It's something like you want to achieve you yourself deep inside you. So it's a no to show it to the public, although people do. And then you'll find that your vision board has like 50 pictures on it, and people on social media will expect you to achieve those 50. Or at the end of the year, they'll be like, Kajuju set goals. She showed us her vision board. It had like 50 things. What has she accomplished on that vision board? And then when I now do a recap of what I've achieved, and let's say I've only achieved 2, they'll be like, and the vision board you set, it had like 50, why 2? So you feel like, no, maybe next year I won't do what I want to do. And then it will bring you down. So as they've said, hustle in silence and let the success make noise.
And what you've said is very important because, once you share something on the social media space, you give your viewers or your target audience a sort of entitlement. So whenever you don't do what you had said or whatever you had set out to do, and it doesn't happen, they'll question. That's how social media works. They'll question. And they forget we're all humans and man is to error, and we are not perfect. However, unfortunately, not everyone on social media understands that. So I think I agree with you. It's important to just keep it private until you're ready to show it to the world, right?
Yes.
Okay. And now moving forward, as we slightly shift our gear from that and we move to the faith perspective. And I would like to ask, because Joe had mentioned earlier that we can have some little habits that you get used to, like waking up, first 30 minutes you could say, okay, these 30 minutes are for prayer, or just meditating and talking to, you know, God, or reading your Bible, or whatever you want to do. And I'd like to ask you, why do you think it's important for us to, you know, involve God in setting our goals, or what is the role that faith and prayer plays in us setting our goals and resolutions?
That's a tricky question, but I'd say involving God in your plans. I feel like once you put God as the center of your goals, you'll be able to achieve. He said you wake up, first thing 30 minutes, let's say prayer. I feel like meditating and talking to God, reading your Bible and doing everything that's religiously involved, I feel like it brings you closer to God, and it calms your mind and helps you to like achieve your goals, to work on them thoroughly. And so I feel like inviting God in your plans is the center of all. And it also says in the Bible, you involve God and your plans will succeed.
Okay.
Yes.
That's very great to hear. How about you, Joe? What role do you think faith and prayer plays in our goal setting and resolutions that we have?
Yeah, it's interesting that today's readings in this cycle of the liturgical year allude to that a bit, because you remember the first readings from the book of 1 Samuel, and it was about Prophet Samuel being called by God. And what caught my attention is that there was a certain text which says there was a great, I'm paraphrasing, but a silence. So God was not talking with his people per se. And then if you juxtapose that with the gospel reading of today, you find whereby Jesus was waking up, going early in the morning and going to pray. So we have these two stories whereby in Israel, God has not yet spoken, and he's trying to reach out to someone in the name of Samuel. And then in the gospel reading, we have Jesus who wakes up early in the morning to go and pray. And that tells us something, fellow viewer, because as one saint said, our hearts are restless until they rest in God, St. Augustine. And who better to ask for advice than God, who is closer to us than we think. So the whole idea is to be able to really listen to what God is saying. The same way Samuel was told by Eli, okay, go listen, and when he's calling you, say, I am here. The same way Jesus went to pray and to commune with his Father. It entails an aspect of actually being silent and also listening to what God is going to tell you, because many times we do things on our own way, on our own terms, and the results are quite disastrous. They don't end up being satisfying, they don't end up being fulfilling. So we really have to put God in the equation. It's not that God is outside, God has to be inside, and then we will see the kind of wonders he will play in our life.
Okay, thank you so much for that.
Thank you.
And that is very encouraging. How about you, Philomena? What role do you think faith and prayer plays in us setting our goals?
Thank you. First, I can say that it is so disgusting to find that most of us remember God at the end when our plans fail or when our goals fail. Why can't we remember him at the start? I can share you a short story. When I was young, I used to attend Mass, and now our parish priest used to tell us, when you want to plan things, when you you must have like two seats. One is for you, and the other one is for God. And now, since I was young, I was like, Mungu anakaaje kwa kiti. But now I get it what he meant. Like, you have to invite God in everything that you do, mentally, spiritually, and physically. Do not wait for when you collapse so that you can start complaining to God, oh God, I'm sorry, I didn't invite you at the beginning. Invite him when you start planning your goals, and you have to believe in him because he is the one who will make it happen.
Wow, thank you so much for that. And
Okay.
I'll remember to do that. Have one seat for me and one for God as I pray. And I'd like to ask, apart from, because when you talk about setting goals, we are really talking about, having physical developments, especially when it comes to, doing well when it comes to body fitness. We are talking about having financial goals, but we can also have spiritual goals, right? What do you think are some of these goals that people can have?
Faith-wisely, you can set goals, but most people do not set, most people set goals like school goals, business goals, and we forget about God. For example, I can set a goal and I say, before the end of this year, I want to get baptized, or I want to get married with a holy marriage. That is important, but sometimes we fail. But I think as we set our own goals, we should also remember to set goals that determine our faith as Christians. Yeah.
Okay, thank you so much for that. How about you, Joe? What do you think are some of the spiritual goals that we can set?
We just came off an interesting Year of Hope, which Pope Francis, the late, instituted. And one of the things I liked about Pope Francis is that he always tells us that the church is like a battlefield, or it's like a hospital, but rather for the people who are sick. And this in turn shows you, it paints an image of Jesus or God being the merciful Father. And remember, that's his greatest attribute. So along those lines, we really have to, I call it like a plan of life. We really have to set something which will keep us in motion to be able to have the constant presence of God throughout. So, like personally, I try and attend Mass daily. So you can say, let me try and attend Mass. If you've been missing on a Sunday, which is a day of obligation, at least every Sunday go to Mass. And then if you have never said a rosary, at least start by saying 3 Hail Marys. Tomorrow 10, the other day 2 decades and stuff. And before you know it, you'll start doing these things, or these religious sets of practices, which will help us to come closer to God. Remember, in the Catholic Church, we have the sacraments, which are basically God's invisible sign to us. So it's that invisible grace he gives us, especially the church, and they help us to come close to him. Plan on attending maybe confession. You haven't gone for confession. It's very practical. I mean, one Saturday, go there. Every day you make something small, and it will help you to grow into closer contact with God. So have a plan of life. Plan of life is basically a set of things you do, like for instance, going for daily Mass, saying the rosary, reading your Bible, and eventually you'll find it's going to become second nature. Yeah.
And Nancy, before we give you the opportunity to speak, I really like what you've said about praying, especially when it comes to praying the rosary. I feel like that is something that most of us have been a bit inconsistent. And you mentioned that you can start with 3 Hail Marys. You don't have to do the whole rosary, but at least it's the thought that counts. And once you start with 3 Hail Marys, tomorrow you'll be like, okay, today we can do one mystery. Tomorrow. So it's very important what you've said. And all these things, it's baby steps. You have to start somewhere, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Nancy, how about you? Spiritual goals that you think people should set?
I think you should have a realistic spiritual goal. Yeah. Like, let's say you want to change how you've been talking to God. Philomena said, you have one seat for you and one seat for God. Don't take God as something like something that is impossible. God created us, and we are told He's always with us. So when you have those two seats, I feel like you should talk to God the same way you talk to your friends. You should tell God all your plans the way you tell to your friends, instead of trauma dumping your problems, your goals to your friend. I think that's part of inviting God to your prayers and to your talking. You should do that. Yeah, to have a clear mind. Yes.
Okay, thank you so much for that. Now, my director is letting me know that we are really running out of time. However, I'd like all of you to give us your parting shot, your conclusion when it comes to today's conversation, and any final words you have to say to our viewer today. We could start with you, Nancy.
I'd like to say in general, make realistic goals. Don't let the outside noise ikufunike and you don't achieve your goal. I feel like your pattern we've said of sharing your vision boards, keep them to yourself. Know that I have to accomplish, let's say, have at least one goal that you want to accomplish by the end of the year, so that it becomes easy for you to tackle it. And by the end of the year, you'll see greatness, you'll see change. And then after that, start doing 2, 3, and you'll see progress. Yeah.
Okay.
That's it.
Thank you so much for that. Nancy, how about you, Joe, your final words?
Yeah, so as you conclude, I'd like to say that new day, new beginning, new struggles. And with each new day, God gives us the necessary graces to be able to conquer the challenges that fall ahead of us. And maybe I can tell people know that God is so merciful and so benevolent that He's willing to give us things we ask of Him. So let's not ask of God, let's ask big. Let's ask that He gives us the graces to be able to persevere in this world, to be able to be straightforward, and I'm sure He'll be able to answer those prayers. So let's ask big of God, let's not ask small.
Thank you so much. Philomena, your final words, your parting shot?
Thank you. I can conclude by saying that let's concentrate on our goals. Do not concentrate on someone other goals, and also focus on your own goal. And most of all, pray until it happens. Pray until it happens. Thank you.
Okay. Thank you so much for that, and thank you all of you for the encouraging and impactful words you've had to say. I believe our viewer has grasped something from whatever all of you have had to say in regards to today's topic of discussion. And maybe we could read feedback that we are getting. We have Jael Diana, who says she's enjoying the show from Ukambani. Thank you so much, Jael, for joining us today. And we also have Teresia Rafa, who says she's enjoying the show and she's also learned a lot about goal setting and setting realistic goals. And I would also like to say that I've also learned something. And when we were on a commercial break, my guests were telling me that I should also get started on preparing my vision board. So I'll make sure I do that. So it has been a very good show, our dear viewer, and thank you so much for joining us, for being with us since the beginning until now. Until next week, same time, same place, be blessed. I'm Susan Bulemi.
Well, hello to you, our dear viewers of Capuchin TV, and welcome to the Family Faith Show, whereby we get to interact with the youth in various ways.
Let's stop judging people according to their tribes.
We present to you fresh perspectives, exciting conversations, engaging debates, Bible trivia discussions, showcasing of talents such as singing, dancing, art, and so much more from guests who keep it real and authentic.
Sasa wewe, nitajuaje hautanihat? In true gentleman nature, Capuchin,
So buckle up, because this season is about to be epic with me, your one and only host, Susan Bulemi. Keep it locked right here on the Family Faith Show every Wednesday from 2 to 3 p.m. only on Capuchin TV.